Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get to the core insights from, well, often confusing research and analysis.
And today, we're tackling something everyone thinks they know about. Fruit.
Exactly. That bedrock belief. Fruit equals healthy. Eat lots of it, right? Vitamins, fiber, all that good stuff.
Well, yes and no. That simple message, it really needs a serious update.
An update? How so?
The fruit you buy today in the supermarket, it's just not the same fruit our ancestors ate, not even close.
You mean because of farming techniques?
Partly, but mostly selective breeding. Over centuries, really. We've, intentionally designed fruits to be super sweet, really fleshy, easy to transport, last longer.
Ah, so we've engineered them for convenience and taste, basically.
Pretty much. And that engineering has consequences. We've been told an apple a day, but maybe today's apple isn't quite the same deal metabolically.
That feels like a huge shift from the standard advice. How do we square that?
We get specific. That intense sweetness means many modern fruits have a high glycemic index, a high GI.
Okay, glycemic index. We hear that term a lot.
And it's critical because with global sugar consumption already sky high, relying on lots of high GI fruit can nudge you towards inflammation, weight gain, even insulin resistance down the line.
But hang on, we still need those vitamins, the nutrients, and honestly, fruit is enjoyable.
Of course. Absolutely.
So for you listening, wanting that goodness, but needing to keep blood sugar in check, what's the path forward?
The path starts by asking a better question. It's not a simple fruit or no fruit debate.
Okay.
The real mission, the question for this deep dive is, which fruit, and crucially, which fruit not?
Right. Selectivity, becoming our own sort of nutritional guides.
Exactly. And that starts with understanding this glycemic index thing properly.
Let's unpack that then, because lots of people, myself included sometimes, might just look at the grams of sugar on a label, but you're saying that's not the whole story.
Not at all. It's fascinating, actually. A food can be quite high in sugar, but because of its structure, maybe lots of fiber, it doesn't spike your blood sugar, your glycemia, very much. And conversely, something that looks lower in sugar, if it's digested really fast, can send your glycemia soaring.
So grams of sugar alone are misleading, which is where the GI comes in.
Precisely. The glycemic index, or GI, it was established back in the 80s, and it's the gold standard for this.
And it measures?
It measures the glycemic response. Basically, how quickly a food you eat makes your blood sugar rise.
Right. And it's a scale, isn't it?
Yep. Goes from 0, which is water, up to 100, which is pure glucose, or like white table sugar.
Okay. 100 is the max spike. So a high GI food, say over 70, that means a really fast, sharp increase.
Exactly. And those sharp spikes, repeated often, are what we want to avoid. They're linked to obesity, setting the stage for insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes.
And inflammation, too, you mentioned.
Chronic inflammation, yes.
Yeah.
A major driver of many modern diseases. So while fruit definitely brings nutrients to the table,
we need to be smart about which ones. Prioritize low or maybe medium GI fruits.
that's the key takeaway. Avoid the high GI ones as much as possible.
Perfect. That sets us up nicely. We need the good list. Let's dive into those 5 highly recommended lower GI fruits you found.
Okay, starting with a real champion, the blueberry. Its GI is remarkably low, just 25.
Wow, 25. That's really low.
It is. And it's low in sugar, too, only about 4 grams per 100 grams of fruit. Plus, it's packed with fiber and those famous antioxidants.
Polyphenols, right?
Exactly, polyphenols. That's why blueberries are such a star in low-carb or keto-friendly approaches.
And that deep blue-purple color, that's a clue.
It absolutely is. That color comes from specific polyphenols called anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins, okay.
And these compounds are powerful stuff. They're linked to the anti-inflammatory benefits, they're good for your heart, and there's growing research suggesting they might even help protect brain function. Neuroprotective properties.
Amazing. Okay, blueberry is a definite keeper. What's next on the list? Maybe something a bit more substantial.
How about the mandarin? It comes in with a GI of 30. Still quite low.
30, okay. Not bad at all.
And a little fun fact, the orange, we all know, is actually derived from the mandarin. It was crossed with a type of pomelo back in Asia, centuries ago.
No kidding. I always assumed the orange came first.
Nope. Mandarin's the ancestor. Nutritionally, you get flavonoids, antioxidants, fiber, vitamin C, though maybe a bit less than an orange.
And it has a unique benefit, too, something about kidneys.
Oh, that's worth highlighting. It's a trito content. This compound seems to help make your urine more alkaline.
Alkalize the urine. Why is that good?
It might help prevent certain types of kidney stones from forming, which makes it a really interesting functional float.
Very cool. Okay, number 3, another classic.
Let's talk pear. Also a GI of 30, same as the mandarin.
Interesting. Pear feels much denser than a mandarin.
It does, and it shows how GI isn't just about sweetness or texture. Pears are super versatile, of course. Eat them fresh, preserve them. They even ferment them into a cider called perry.
Perry, right. And nutritionally, the big win is...
Fiber, lots of it. Plus, alongside apples and tea, pears are actually one of the main ways people in Western diets get beneficial antioxidant flavonoids.
good old reliable pear. Okay, now for one that feels like a treat, maybe even a bit decadent. Strawberry.
Ah, but the strawberry is another low GI hero. It ties with the blueberry at GI 25.
Really? 25? That's fantastic. I would have guessed higher.
It's surprising, isn't it? Good source of vitamin C, manganese, but the polyphenols are where it gets really interesting.
More polyphenols.
Yep. It has things like elagitonin, which research suggests is good for antioxidant effects, maybe even anti-cancer activity, and blood sugar control.
Okay, elagitonin.
But then there's the really hot topic compound,
Fisetin. Right, you mentioned this earlier. This is the one generating excitement. Why?
because fisetin seems to be a really potent activator of something called sirtuins.
Sirtuins. Those are linked to longevity, right? Anti-aging.
Exactly. Sirtuins are these molecular regulators that scientists think are responsible for some of the anti-aging effects you see with, like, serious caloric restriction, really intense dieting.
Whoa, hang on. So, a compound found in strawberries, a common fruit, might activate the same anti-aging pathways as starvation diets.
That's what the research is suggesting. It's a potential way to tap into those longevity mechanisms without the extreme dieting. It's pretty groundbreaking.
That connection is huge. It really drives home why knowing these details matters. Just choosing strawberries over, say, a high GI fruit could have these deeper effects.
It's a perfect example, yes.
Yeah.
Subtle choices, potentially big impact.
Okay, mine's slightly blown. Let's round out our top 5 with the apple.
The classic apple. It comes in a bit higher, a medium GI of 38.
38. Still very reasonable.
Very. Apples are amazing.
Yeah.
Grown everywhere, store incredibly well without losing nutrients, unlike many other fruits.
And their key component.
Besides various amino acids, the star is pectin. It's a type of soluble fiber.
Pectin, that's good for feeling full. Satiety.
Immense satiety, yes. And it's brilliant for regulating digestion, intestinal transit.
And isn't there that famous trick with apples? Cooked versus raw?
Yes, it's fascinating. Cooked apple pectin acts like a gentle laxative, helpful if you're constipated.
Okay.
But raw apple pectin acts as an astringent, which can help manage diarrhea. Same fruit, different preparation, opposite effect.
Just little remedies. Okay, so that's our which fruit list nailed down. Blueberry, mandarin, pear, strawberry, apple, low to medium GI champs.
Right, but as I said, that's only half the equation.
The other half is how we eat them. You mentioned 4 key rules for digestion and pairing.
Yes, get this wrong, and even a low GI fruit might not do you much good, or could even cause problems. Rule number 1, whole versus juice.
Ah, the juicing debate.
That's not really a debate, metabolically speaking.
Yeah.
Juicing strips out the fiber, concentrates the sugar
And that raises the GI.
significantly. Always aim to eat the fruit whole, chew it really well, digestion starts in the mouth. If you absolutely must have juice, sip it slowly, let it mix with saliva, don't gulp it down.
Got it. Whole is better. Rule 2.
Rule number 2, timing. This is a big one for many people. Think about when fruit is traditionally eaten.
Dessert, right, after
Right.
a big meal.
Exactly. And that's often the worst time, especially if you have issues like acid reflux or indigestion.
Why is that?
Fruit digests relatively quickly, mostly further down in the intestine. But if your stomach is busy dealing with heavy proteins and fats from your main meal,
The fruit gets stuck waiting.
precisely, it gets held up in the stomach. We call it the stomach blockade.
Okay. And what happens when it's blocked?
It ferments. The sugars start to break down anaerobically, producing gas.
So that's where the bloating, the gas, the discomfort after eating fruit for dessert comes from?
Very often, yes.
Yeah.
It's much better to eat fruit on an empty stomach or maybe before a meal.
That makes so much sense. Are there any exceptions? Can we ever have fruit after eating?
Thankfully, yes. 2 main ones, pineapple and papaya,
Pineapple and papaya, why them?
because they contain special enzymes called proteases.
Proteinases. They break down protein.
Exactly. So if you eat them after a protein-heavy meal, they actually aid digestion rather than getting blocked. They help break down the proteins you just ate.
So they're like little digestive helpers. Nice.
Okay, rule 3. Rule number 3, watch out for adverse pairings. Specifically, acid and starch.
Acidic fruits with starchy foods? Like what?
Think berries, citrus fruits, raspberries, oranges, grapefruit eaten alongside things like breakfast cereal, toast, crackers, cookies.
Okay, why is that bad?
Biology. To digest starch properly, you need an enzyme in your saliva called salivary amylase. It starts the process in your mouth,
Right.
but the acid from the fruit, it inactivates that amylase, shuts it down.
Oh, so the starch doesn't get broken down properly up front?
Correct. It hits your stomach poorly digested, leading to, guess what?
Fermentation gas, bloating.
Okay,
Again.
you got it.
Right.
That classic breakfast of orange juice and cereal.
Yeah.
Metabolically, it's kind of a setup for poor digestion for many people.
Wow. Okay, avoid acid fruit plus starch combos. What's the last rule?
Rule number 4, the sweet fix. This is for when you do choose a slightly sweeter fruit, maybe one with a higher GI than our top 5.
How do you manage the impact?
Simple. Eat it with a handful of nuts. Almonds, walnuts, pecans.
Nuts. Why does that help?
Nuts provide protein, healthy fats, and fiber. This combination acts like a brake.
A brake on sugar absorption.
Exactly. It physically slows down how quickly the sugar from the fruit can pass into your bloodstream. The nuts lower the overall glycemic impact of that snack.
So nuts act as a buffer. Clever.
It's a very effective strategy.
Okay, this deep dive has definitely added layers to just eating fruit, but really essential layers.
It's about being informed, making conscious choices.
So, to recap for everyone listening, ditch the idea that all fruit is the same. Use the glycemic index as your guide. Prioritize those low GI stars like blueberries and strawberries, or reliable medium GI options like apples and pears.
And pay close attention to how you eat them.
Right. Whole fruit over juice. Timing matters, ideally before meals, not after, unless it's pineapple or papaya.
Avoid those acid-starch combos.
And use nuts to buffer slightly sweeter fruits. We definitely recommend looking up GI tables for fruits we didn't cover today.
And just to loop back to that fascinating point about strawberries.
Fisetin.
Yeah, the fisetin. Remember, it's a potent activator of sirtuins. Those regulators link to the molecular effects of anti-aging, the kind usually associated with caloric restriction.
It's incredible. A common fruit potentially tapping into those deep biological pathways for longevity.
It really makes you think.
It does. And that leads us to our final thought for you. Considering this kind of profound molecular link where something as simple as choosing a strawberry might connect to mechanisms of aging, how might understanding these subtle nutritional details change your approach, not just to fruit, but maybe to every single meal you eat?
Something to ponder.
Definitely. Until next time on The Deep Dive.